Good afternoon. This is Debbie Davis. It is Saturday, July 19th. Okay, so I just wanted to, I was just doing some other research about the VA because I've had so many problems with the VA recently myself. I've talked about it in my last video. I've talked about the issues I'm having with community care. The third party company that oversees the community care, Optum, is located out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, and they've been screwing over veterans for years now. That company needs to be removed from any kind of association with the VA. Okay, I went in for a rating exam for an increase. After so many years, you can request an increase in your disability. And they sent me to this Optum place in Eagan, and they tried to have me arrested. Okay, can you get any more lower on your state of a human being than that? I mean, right there, that should have been a red flag to all. I had to get off work. I was working at Wagner at the time, and I didn't have my VA ID on me. Okay, so they said, oh, well, we can't see you if you don't have your VA ID on me. It's just like I had another ID. So then I'm in the waiting room, and I'm trying to call the number to at the federal building is who set up the rating exam for me. Like the same place, like years ago, I had gotten my disability benefits finally when I went to the Purple Heart office. There was some guys who helped me do the paperwork properly, and so that was like, then I went to the federal building to try to see how to do this other thing, right? And so they're the one who set the whole appointment up. And so I called them and I said, and I tried, and then I'm calling them in the waiting room of the Optum in Eagan, and they come out and they said I was being disorderly. And they actually had the police pull me over, and I said, I'm not being disorderly. I'm making a phone call to the person who made the appointment for me, so they can verify who I am, so I don't have to make another so I can try to not make another trip here, since you won't see me since I don't have my ID. They refused to see me, and they come out and said I was disorderly. This is the Optum in Eagan, Minnesota, and so basically they almost had me arrested trying to get a VA rating exam. This is the Optum in Eagan. Now, Optum is the place that's actually doing the rating exams. Okay, they're not associated at all with the VA, and they're completely abusing people in the community care part of the VA right now. And I did a video on them. I went right over there to Eagan, Minnesota, and I tried to see if maybe I could speak to somebody. And they had people coming out. Because, I mean, it's the main office is right here in Minnesota. And they're screwing over veterans nationwide. I mean, you just look up Optum and you see all these complaints, like hundreds and hundreds of veterans complaints. They're denying their ratings. They don't have, I don't even think those were real doctors that work for the VA, or even, I mean, I think they were all part of this agenda against veterans. That place was scary. So, I mean, I've talked about all the problems I've had as a veteran. So then I tried to go over to this place in Eden Prairie and actually speak to somebody. It was the whole corporate center is located right in Eden Prairie. I did a video about this, and they had people come out and videotaping me illegally when I was just on their property. There's not a place to actually go in and speak to anybody. There's security right there. They don't let you get anywhere past speaking to somebody. There's security right there. The security was taking video footage of me illegally on the property. I am a veteran. I'm the person you serve. We're the people that actually pay your bills because you're here to serve us, and you have the gall to videotape me and act like I'm some kind of criminal on your property. I mean, does anybody realize how crazy this is besides me? They work for us. All these people that are abusing veterans, they have totally forgotten that the whole reason why you even have a job is because of the veterans. I mean, I've been harassed and I can't get care at the VA anymore. So I just went and looked up who the people were on the Veterans Committee right now. And I mean, so I just did this research, and I've never actually looked at this before. And I just, it doesn't look like a single one of them are veterans themselves. I mean, I don't know a single one of these people. Okay, so the chairman is somebody named Mike Bost from Illinois. Then these are the Republican members are Amada Coleman Radwagen, Jack Berman, Nancy Mace, Marionette Miller, Greg Murphy, Derek Van Orden, Morgan Luttrell, Juan Koskamani, Keith Self, Jen Giggins, Abe Hamadi. Okay, so it says what state they're from here too. So it says Nancy Mace is from South Carolina, Marionette is from Iowa, Greg Murphy's from North Carolina, Derek Van Orden, Wisconsin, Morgan Luttrell, Texas, Juan Koskamani, Arizona, Keith Self, Texas. So I wonder if Juan was on the board when all those 100 veterans were on that waiting list that died. I wonder how far this goes back. So, I mean, all these people need to be investigated as far as I'm concerned. Okay, we can't get care at the VA. So, maybe we should give them a call. Say, what's up? See if there's a number here. Keith Self in Texas, out of Texas. Jen Kiggins out of Virginia. Abe Hamadi out of Arizona again. Kimberly King Hins, Northern Mariana Islands. Okay, and the one lady, Amadi Coleman Radagwin, it says she's American Samoan. I mean, I don't know why that matters. Like, and who is this woman that is from the Mariana Islands? Why is she even on the board of the Veterans Affairs? Kimberly Hing Hines. I mean, does that make any sense to anybody? Why is somebody that's from the Northern Mariana Islands even on the board of the Veterans Affairs? Okay, none of this makes any sense to me. Tom Barrett out of Michigan. Then the Mark Takano out of California. Then the Democrat members are Julia Browning out of California, Chris Pappas out of New Hampshire, Sheila Sherphillis McCormick out of Florida, Morgan McGarvey out of Kentucky, Delia Ramirez out of Illinois, Nikki Bonzinki out of Illinois, Tim Kennedy out of New York, Maxine Dexter out of Oregon, Herb Conaway out of New Jersey, and Kelly Morrison out of Minnesota. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we need to contact Kelly because since she's on the board, she's probably got some idea of what's going on at the VA hospital here. So let's. I'm going to have to find a way that I can contact her and see what's going on, Kelly, in the Minnesota veterans. You clearly aren't doing your job, Kelly. Okay. It's, I'll look up her whole, I look up their whole past. Like, I'll research people and I'll find out connections, that they have with different people and things like that. Kelly Morrison. So Kelly is clearly not doing her job in the Veterans Affairs Committee out of Minnesota. That's for sure, Kelly. So we're going to have to find out what's going on with Kelly because I can't get any care. I don't have a good new my primary care person got transferred, and I don't trust this new primary care person that they put in her place, so I don't have any primary care. I go to try to get a piece of paper signed. I almost get arrested at the VA ER, where just because I was trying to have a piece of paper signed. They said I was, oh, I don't know. She felt that I was being rude in some way because I said, well, it doesn't say that it has to be signed by a primary doctor. It can be signed by any doctor here, but they wouldn't sign it, and they kept trying to refer me to mental health. Oh boy, just because I say, well, as you can see here, it doesn't need to be signed by primary care. It needs to be signed by any doctor, and somehow that's a mental health issue. Is there some kind of connection that they made, like because I had made a point that to read it, that somehow there's a connection that went off in their heads that all of a sudden this is a mental health issue? I mean, I think they need mental health themselves, and then they have the VA. Then they not the VA police. I haven't even seen the VA police there anymore. Now we got Minneapolis police working at the VA with guns, and it says right on the VA facility, no guns on the premises. So what's going on, Kelly? I think Kelly needs to be investigated. Kelly Morrison, okay? She's clearly not doing her job. Let's look up who else is on the Veterans Affairs who isn't doing their job. Clearly they're not doing their jobs taking care of veterans. We've talked about the Optum. So I wanted to point that out. And then this Barry Sanders used to be on the committee a few years back. Bernie Sanders, senator. He was on the Veterans Affairs Committee from the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee from 2013 to 15, the Senate Budget Committee from 2021 to 2023, and the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee from 2023 to 2025. He's a senior senator and dean of Vermont. Well, Bernie Sanders is deep state. I mean, he's part of the crowd, the bad crowd that we're finding out is part of a satanic cult. I mean, it's they're all part of this same agenda. And Bernie Sanders, and I have another personal story that happened to me with Bernie Sanders, is the different places that I've had to move around because of the issues I've had with the police and with my sheriff in my town in South Dakota. Then he's had sheriffs harass me in other states. But some of the time I was trying to live in other places that were warmer. I have moved out of state, like Arizona and different things, because it's so cold in Minnesota. Part of it was I wanted to get out of the cold, and I tried different states and things like that. But so I did for a while. I lived in Vegas with like a friend of a friend, and it was okay for a while. And then I had this bizarre thing happen. So there was this person that was trying to rent the room next to mine, where I was renting a room in Las Vegas at a friend of a friend's house. And this guy said he worked for Bernie Sanders. And I'm just like, I talked to the guy. I'm like, please do not rent to this guy. We don't want anybody that works for this guy next to us. And thankfully he didn't rent to him. But I think it was like a week later or something, I had this bizarre thing happen in Vegas where I'm just out with my dog, just doing errands, and I take my dog with me everywhere. I mean, I have an actual letter that says she's a therapy dog, an emotional support dog. And I was just going to get her nails done, and I went and stopped at this one place first. It wasn't like 90 degrees, it was like 80 degrees. It wasn't like extreme heat or anything. And I had the windows down, and I had a big bowl and everything. And I go into this one place before I was going to bring her to get her nails cut. And I did one errand, and I wasn't even in there. I mean, I was probably in there 5-10 minutes, and I come out, and my dog had been kidnapped. Literally kidnapped out of my car. Dog napped or whatever. I mean, by the animal rescue. And so I get this note on my car. This was in Henderson, Nevada. And if you can look up, and of course there's a Masonic lodge in Henderson, Nevada. Because of course it always has to do with the Masons. Okay, and then, so then I get this note on my car, and I'm freaking out. I had the window far enough down where they actually reached right in. So, be careful with that, because they'll reach right in. And it wasn't. And I looked up the law, and it said that it's not even considered. It wasn't even in the category where it was considered an unsafe condition for the animal because she had this huge bowl of water and the window was down. So what they did was completely illegal. And then I found out since that they have a whole scam going on there in Henderson, Nevada, and they did this to other neighbors. And it's a money making scam that the animal rescue has going on with the Masons there. Okay, and where they made me come in and pay to get my dog out, and I didn't even go in. I didn't even go in and actually handle anything because I was afraid to even go in. And I had my friend go in and get the dog and pay the dog. And they gave him a ticket, and the ticket went in his name. My friend helps take care of the dog. He loves the dog. It's like, everybody feels like the dog was, they're part owners of the dog too. Like, I mean, she's loved by, my dog was loved by everybody, so he actually went and picked up the dog, and they gave him a ticket for whatever. And it was just like, but I mean, and so we're like, and I said, well, I looked up the law and there's nothing that I was violating in any way. And what you did, you basically kidnapped my dog. So anyway, he gets this ticket and he's supposed to go to court, and we're trying to, get all the evidence and everything like that. And then they never sent him anything for when the court date was. So I'm trying to, we're trying to figure out what's going on with this situation. And so I went into the court and tried to talk to them about the issue for my friend. Nothing was in my name at all. And I got arrested in Las Vegas just going in to try to discuss what is going on with the court date in my friend's name, not my name. Okay. Okay. So, and I get arrested and I have to spend 5 days in jail in Las Vegas. And this was the Henderson Animal Rescue that did this to me, and the Mason police in Henderson, Nevada, and I think it involved Bernie Sanders because I like I said, there was this guy that was trying to rent the room that worked for Bernie Sanders right in like a week before that. So, these guys are scary. They shouldn't be involved in anything to do with veterans. These people are all part of a satanic agenda, an agenda that doesn't fall in line with the Constitution of the United States. So I mean, they have no business being in any kind of position regarding veterans affairs. Okay, and I would really question like all of these people on the Veterans Committee, and really investigate them, as to who they really are, because the VA is a mess right now. We can't get any care. We can't even get care in the community anymore. We had a horrible experience with the physical therapy department at the VA where they were just basically just a joke. I mean, they didn't do anything. Oh, here's some exercises, and you go back and do them yourself. Oh boy, what was that, like a 5-minute appointment? Oh, that's so helpful. I could do that on my own. I do exercises on my own. I mean, that's all they did, literally. Like, it was like laugh worthy. And then we started requesting care in the community for other therapy because they sucked so bad at the physical therapy office there. And it was like, and then now we can't even get that. So, anyway, this is just what I wanted to talk about today.